Hi, just before we begin this video, if you haven't watched the part 1, you should, because it is a direct continuation from the previous video. So please go watch the first one, and if you watched the first one a while ago and you don't remember, we left off where I was just saying how important for a filmmaker networking is. Yeah, roll intro and all that stuff. Thank you. Now, expanding on from networking, this might be slightly radical, but it's actually quite good, and it turned out to work for me and a couple of my friends, and that is start your own film festival. A bit over a year ago, I had this idea of creating a monthly short film festival where we would screen, say, 6 short films every month, and went to 2 of my best friends and presented them, and then we went to this local venue that have the screening space and everything, and they said okay. So in the last year we've successfully organized 10 monthly short film festivals of screenings, and in this year we intend to do the same. And what this provided to us was we got to meet a lot of filmmakers, because we got at least 6 filmmakers each month there, and we had Q&A with them, so we learned from them. We've already seen films in our festival that have been created because the filmmakers have met at our festival. And most importantly, it gave us something that I believe no film school in the world can give you or provide you. In 10 months, because we've had our submissions via Film Freeway, we've received about 260, probably even a bit more, submissions, which means we had to watch 260 films, short films, and analyze them, and also provide some feedback, and then decide whether we want to accept them or not, which I think roughly amounts up to 53 hours of short films. And I can't tell you how much of an insight this gave us on filmmaking, on what not to do, on what makes a compelling film, what makes an intriguing film, and also how to make film that will be easier accepted to film festivals. Because when you go through so many films, okay, there's no way we can fit this film here, and you kind of learn the ropes and tricks a bit. So if you think this is a bit too radical to just start a film festival, maybe try and join a film festival and become part of their crew, and then get, I don't know if they have a monthly or yearly basis, just see as many short films as possible. And this year we're also stepping it up a bit, so we will provide feedback for every single film, which means that we will have to analyze every film even more in depth, giving us even more experience and skills when it comes to our own filmmaking. Read books. I can't stress enough how important this is, and I've already made a couple of videos on this theme. I'll link them below in the description. Of course, read books on filmmaking and read books on filmmakers, biographies of them, of course, it's very important. But the thing is that these books will not give you any substance, and films are substance, if anything. So you should read every kind of book you can get your hands on, or any kind of book that you like to read. So read fiction, read non-fiction, read articles, read poetry, read historical books. Basically read anything that has either emotion, compelling information, or some kind of a plot involved. Then read scripts. Usually after the film is released, they will release the script in such booklets. They're really cool. There's you can carry it anywhere. Otherwise, there's countless of web pages where you can download scripts for free, and everyone loves free stuff. Also, one other thing that film school will provide, or will kind of expect you to do, is exercise and homework. And you can do that by yourself as well, even though there's no deadlines and there's no one hitting you at the back. You need to do this, otherwise you won't go through to the next year. For instance, if it's too hard for you to just start writing a scene from zero, then take again a script, pick a scene that you love preferably, and analyze it and see the mechanics and how it works and where the plot twists and turns and what characters do, and just write down the bones of it, and then let these be the rules for your scene. So write completely your own scene, use a different plot, a different story, different characters, but use the same mechanics. And the more of that you do, the more you will learn how to write. And then once you start writing these things, send it off to your friends, which you've met on Q&As and on filmmaking events and on meetups, and ask them for feedback. And there's one exercise which Tarantino advised us to do, and it's really good. It says, when you come from the cinema and you get home, try to rewrite in your own words your favorite scene from the film and see what you get, which is actually really good because you kind of train your mind, you recall back the images, and then by writing in your own words, you also see what pops out and what is actually your style and what is their style, and it might be better, it might be worse. Anyway, you will learn a lot from either case, from whatever the outcome is. And yeah, write as much as you can. Like, writing is free. If you're watching this video, chances are that you have a device that is capable of typing. If not pen and paper, like, writing is the cheapest hobby you can get, apart from push-ups, I guess, if that's a hobby. You can have a pen and paper always with you. If you see something, you see a person on the tube that you like, you see a scene in the cafe, these people, someone looks a strange way and you like it, anything, just write it in. Or you get an idea, you're driving somewhere, you get an idea, just write it down or type it or whatever, or film it on the device and then write it when you come home. And also write with a goal, with an aim. Don't just write aimlessly. Just, okay, now I want to write a scene that kind of has this and this and these elements, and write it through. And again, the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. Then something I find very helpful is listen to podcasts about filmmakers and videos where filmmakers are either interviewing filmmakers or are talking about their own film. Basically, if you're using YouTube for that, just watch anything that is not mainstream entertainment, and be careful because YouTube can quickly get you down the rabbit hole, and 2 hours later you're watching opossum videos. I was watching otter videos for like half an hour. It's like, why? I don't know. They're cute though. They're quite cute. DGA has its own podcasts. A24 also has a podcast, and both of them are filmmakers interviewing filmmakers, which is really good because both of them know which questions to ask and what they're talking about. It's quite in-depth. Then you have Script Notes, which is a podcast for screenwriters and the things that are interesting for screenwriters. Thank you very much. On YouTube you have quite a lot of good channels, and especially watch those where there's roundtables of filmmakers, and as I said before, like filmmakers interview filmmakers. Again, DGA has their own channel. Just browse, you know how to use YouTube. And lastly, and most importantly, make films. It's quite an odd thing when it comes to filmmakers, because we're all, especially like for the first film, everyone who's made films will tell you, just go out and do something, and I will tell you the same thing. But the thing is that we all filmmakers are kind of, but I don't want to, we're all afraid that I guess we will be judged by this first film that we will do. And that's kind of like, imagine talking to a chef or someone who wants to be a chef, and they say, actually I don't want to start cooking because I'm afraid I'll burn anything. Well, you have to burn. If you want to learn how to make a pancake, you have to make 10 shit pancakes, and then the 11th one will be good. It's the same with filmmaking. It's slightly more complex, but again, you have phones, you have whatever, anything that has a camera, just so you learn how to frame, how to tell people where to move, how to direct actors, which is really important, which is quite hard to learn, and I think it's one of the things that you really just need to do it to know how to work with people. If you make a film and it's not good, it doesn't have to leave your computer. It can just, okay, well, I tried, this is what I learned, maybe show it to a few friends and let them tell you what they think, and then go on and make something new until you make something where you're confident enough to send it to a festival, and you might get selected, and there you go, you're officially a filmmaker. And also one other thing is, we as much as we like to read about other filmmakers, and as good as this is, you can also very easily fall into that trap that you start thinking, aha, this person made it this way, therefore I have to do this and this and this. If a certain way worked for a certain person, it probably won't work for you. You don't know 95% of the things that were going on in their lives. You don't know their mental state at that time, how it was at home. I mean, you might read something in the books, but you don't know the whole story. So go your own way. And I think like the healthiest way to go about it is to try and find a way that will give you the most skills and experience and the most exposition. I think if you kind of try to balance these two out, you're kind of on a good way. But by no means do not do things because someone else hasn't done it. Yeah, that makes sense. Anyway, that's it for the video. That's my small tiny addition to the film schools or not film schools of this world. I hope anything is helpful. As always, please leave stuff in the comments if there's anything that you find helpful and that I didn't mention, or if you think that something that I mentioned and it's completely you shouldn't do it, although I doubt there is such a thing. Anyway, go gently on the like button, but by all means click it, and if you really think that the guy you're looking at right now is kind of a cool guy, just click the subscribe button. I'm an okay guy, you know, I'm not clingy, I don't mingle at parties where I don't have to. It's kind of, I think I'm chilled. Yeah. Now go out there and make your beautiful films. And remember kids, whatever happens, never be an asshole.